Let's take a look at the three basic types of sticks used in competitive stick fighting. We'll look at the attributes of each one, as well as the ease of construction. The Irish Blackthorn is a grown stick. These sticks are grown from saplings up into branches where they're harvested, seasoned, and then finished before they can be legitimately used as a fighting stick. The advantage to the grown stick is there is nothing more reliable when it comes to being used as a fighting stick. The disadvantage is the fact that the hardwoods used for stick fighting are often so hard that they have a tendency to crack during the drying process, and that makes it very difficult to get one from beginning to end. When we look at the second type of stick, the split wood stick, many of the problems that are associated with the grown sticks have already been dealt with by other people when you use a billet or a chunk of clear, seasoned hardwood as a beginning point. You don't need to worry about the splitting. All you need to do is basically render the stick out of the wood that you want, like we've done here. Composite stick is comprised of a series of positive attributes that are brought together into one stick, and the whole ends up being greater than the sum of the parts. The disadvantage to the compo is that of all the sticks, they break the easiest. The good point is that they're very cheap to make, they're very easy to make, and they're virtually discardable when you're done with them. The best thing about the compo, though, is the fact that you can use this stick in full intent fighting with using very, very little protective equipment. Let's take a look at an accurate full intent strike at an unprotected elbow using a composite stick by the fighter in black on the fighter in white. Okay, let that thing roll. Boom. Not only can you see here that the stick is accurately placed right on target on the elbow, but you can actually see the wave being induced in the flesh of his arm up about 6 inches from that attack. That's his flesh moving like a wave. You can see the white spot now where the blood is all absent from the contact point. Now we're going to advance this frame at a time, and you can see how long it takes for the blood to come back to that spot if you have any doubts that this is a full contact shot or not. Okay, quick recap. The three types of sticks we use are first, the composite, which brings together different materials to try and gain a desired result. How to make one of those is already available on our website at irishstickfighter.com. The split wood shillelagh is a stick rendered out of a billet of straight-grained, kiln-dried lumber that you can buy from a hardware store. This will be available later on next fall. Which brings us to our topic du jour, the grown hardwood shillelagh. Without a doubt, this is my favorite type of project to work on. Certainly not because it's easy, but for sentimental reasons. The Sullivan family is so associated with the blackthorn, which is the traditional wood that the Irish made shillelaghs out of, that the blackthorn rose has become the official emblem of the O'Sullivan clan. So let's get on with it. First and foremost, you're going to need a large supply of stock from which to choose. The reason for this is obvious. It takes 1,000 sticks to go through before you find one that's actually suitable. If a person is really serious about it, eventually you'll end up planting shrubs and trees in your yard that you can use, that are excellent for making fighting sticks out of, as I've done. A way of getting one plant to produce a lot of good shillelaghs is staking. You stake the tip of the sapling down like this, trim off all the branches along the bottom like I'm doing here, and leave all the branches on the top. Eventually, over years, those branches will end up growing straight up, and then you'll be able to just cut that all up and you'll have almost like a 6-pack of perfectly grown shillelaghs. If you don't have room, that's the solution. In northern Canada here, we harvest the shillelaghs in early spring. We do this because much of the moisture in the wood is stored deep down in the roots and the wood is already half dried. Unfortunately, the ground is still frozen like granite, but we have a special friend that can help us with that. His name is Dread. It's strange how he knows exactly what we want to do, and he can just root through that ground like it's butter. As soon as that stick's out of the ground, it's imperative that you do a few things immediately. One of them is dip the ends in hot wax. This is where the cracking is going to start, and by dipping them in hot wax is a way of ensuring that those ends are going to dry out the slowest of all. Secondly, you want to coat the entire surface, bark and all, with a thick petroleum-based Vaseline type material. The reason why I like Vaseline is because A, it doesn't run all over the place, and B, it won't go rancid over the long storage time that's coming up. I like to store my green stalk in what I call a beak board, which is a long, dense piece of maple with a 45-degree notch carved out of the length of it. Notice how it's overcut a little bit. That's to allow air in and out of that area. This makes sure that they're dried religiously straight. During the first year of drying, I oil the green stalk almost every month. After 12 months, I might remove the bark depending on the type of wood. Some woods need another year at least before removing the bark. However, I never remove the cuticle. I oil it up and let it dry for another year again. After 2 years, I take a sharp knife and I remove the cuticle from the wood and oil it and let it sit until I feel it's ready. The stick at this point is called in the white, and that's because all the sapwood is showing. The stick looks very white at this point. One of the ways of determining whether the wood is seasoned and ready enough for the next stage is by weighing the shillelagh when it's green in the beginning. And then every time you deal with it, you just re-weigh it. And then you'll notice that after a while, the stick will stop losing weight. At that point, you can be pretty confident that it's equalized to the ambient moisture content of your area. And then you can cut off the parts that you don't want, the checked ends and things, and then begin the arduous task of removing or whittling the sapwood off of the heartwood with a utility knife. Once all of this is done, you can finish it in any way you like or just leave it raw and rustic. In closing, I'd just like to share with you the 3 main solutions to problems when it comes to making shillelaghs. 1, more patience. 2, more oil. And 3, more patience and more oil. Thanks for watching, and keep it pinned at irishstickfighter.com.